Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Marcella Lee.
And I'm Jesse Pagan in for Carlo Cicchetto. Local leaders are bracing for the influx of migrants once Title 42 is lifted. Just yesterday, the Biden administration asked the Supreme Court to lift the pandemic-era border policy that allows border agents to stop people from crossing in order to stop the spread of communicable diseases.
CBS 8's Anna Laurel spent the day at the border to find out what could happen when Title 42 is no more.
Thousands of asylum seekers are just on the other side of the border waiting for Title 42 to be lifted so they can come into the United States. But that's not going to happen for at least a few more days now. Earlier today, we heard from an immigration advocate, and I spoke with Republican County Supervisor Joel Anderson. Both say when those people cross the border, it's going to overwhelm the system, and we need help.
We need to have a plan in place that doesn't punish our communities and yet welcomes those folks who come across the border. And we have no plan. And the county doesn't have the resources to do it.
County Supervisor Joel Anderson is sounding the alarm. He says the federal and state government must send resources to places like East County, or once people are allowed to seek asylum in the U.S. again, they could actually end up on the street.
Without those resources, you're literally putting people on the street in the dark of night.
You might not realize the basic help asylum seekers need once they're here.
They're going to need food, they're going to need clothes, and they're going to need shelter.
Legal support, medical support, transportation support.
Pedros Rios is an immigration advocate.
I want to see a commitment by the federal government to the asylum procedures. I want to see real measures that prioritize the meeting of the human needs and the humanitarian needs.
He was just in Texas, where he saw what a border town looked like for migrants without resources.
I saw a lot of people, presumably migrants, that were walking around, congregating in the streets in the bitter cold. It was freezing. Not necessarily having information about where to go, some of them being lost.
Right now, so many potential asylum seekers are at the border with Texas. That state's National Guard is there for when Title 42 gets lifted.
Where's the shelters? There's none.
Back here in San Diego, Supervisor Anderson says he expects 400 to 1,500 people a day to come into El Cajon once the pandemic-era policy is over.
So what are these people going to do when they're the huddled masses on our streets? And this is the way we welcome people to our country who are leaving horrible circumstances, and we're going to create a horrible circumstance for them?
At the San Ysidro Port of Entry, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Thank you, Anna. A jury found a Solana Beach woman guilty of first-degree murder in the killing of her stepfather. Prosecutors argued Jade Jenks drugged and suffocated Tom Merriman days after she found nude photos of herself on his computer.
As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, the 39-year-old was taken into custody immediately following the jury's verdict.
We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Jade Sasha Jenks, guilty of the crime of murder.
Jade Jenks looked surprised that the jury found her guilty of premeditated murder. She had been out on bail for almost 2 years since her arrest in January 2021 in the death of her stepfather, 64-year-old Tom Merriman. Following the verdict, her attorney tried to argue she should remain free pending sentencing, but the judge said no.
I do believe in light of the verdict, at this time she will be remanded to the custody of the Sheriff's Department.
Deputies handcuffed her on the spot. Prosecutors alleged Jenks drugged and suffocated Merriman days after finding hundreds of nude photos of herself on his computer. On the witness stand in her own defense, Jenks said the photos were taken when she was between the ages of 16 and 26, and they were stolen off her laptop and a camera memory card. Deputy District Attorney Jorge Del Portillo prosecuted the case.
We are thankful that the jury was able to listen to the evidence, listen to the testimony, and hold her accountable.
The defense argued Merriman was an alcoholic and he overdosed himself on sleeping pills. Attorney Mark Carlos told the jury Jenks panicked when she found Merriman dead in the back of her SUV and hid his body under a pile of garbage next to his home in Solana Beach because she didn't want to get blamed for his death. But in the end, it was the text messages sent by the defendant that did her in, including one that read, "I just dosed the hell out of him."
Well, clearly, it was the text messages that really hurt. I mean, the text messages were words. You know, it's hard to really get around words, and they appeared to be, at least for the jury, believed them to be some sort of premeditation.
The victim's brother, Terrence Merriman, read a statement after the verdict came down.
Tom was a great father, son, brother, and friend. We want him to be remembered for his compassionate, kind, generous, caring, and selfless nature.
David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Jenks is in jail tonight without the option to bail out. Sentencing is scheduled so far for April 3rd in North County. A 22-year-old Poway man is in jail tonight accused of molesting 3 boys in their own homes. Detectives arrested the man as he got off a plane at San Diego International yesterday.
Investigators say parents hired him as a babysitter. Now some of those parents are coming forward. CBS 8's Rocio de la Fe is digging into the investigation, finding out why detectives think there could be more victims.
San Diego police arrested 22-year-old Zane St. Julian after 3 separate families accused him of molesting their children. Investigators feared there could be more victims and are asking the public to reach out to them if they have any information that could help them in their investigation.
St. Julian is behind bars and now faces various child molestation charges. The 22-year-old from Poway was arrested yesterday at the San Diego International Airport as he was getting off a flight. Investigators say St. Julian molested 3 unrelated boys inside their homes.
These incidents occurred in the actual residences, the actual homes of these boys. There's no particular community that was targeted. There were, from all over the city, these cases, and potentially all over the county.
St. Julian was employed by a babysitting website called Sitter City. Police were made aware of him after the parents of one of the children involved reported him to police in November. Investigators say the boys in these cases were 7, 8, and 11 years old at the time.
This person was someone who should be trusted, right? You're hiring a babysitter to take care of your child.
Police say there's a chance that there could be more victims and are asking anyone with information to come forward.
If in fact they do discover or anyone suspects or has information that other children were targeted or that they have information in the current cases, we ask that they call the San Diego Police Child Abuse Unit.
We reached out to Sitter City but have yet to hear back. To make a report, contact the San Diego Police Department or Crime Stoppers. Rocio de la Fe, CBS 8.
All right, Rocio, thanks. All right, 4 more days until Christmas, and it's looking a lot like we're going to have a warm Christmas this weekend.
Yeah, some of you may be thinking about a holiday at the beach. Ooh. Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis here early with a first look at your forecast. Carlene?
All right, yeah, we had warmer temperatures by this afternoon, and we had some widespread 70s when it came to those daytime highs, but we're just getting started. We're going to take that all the way into the weekend. Focus on the graphics behind me, not my face. We're talking about 69 degrees. That was the high for today for downtown. Also looking at widespread 70s when it came to those highs for today. As we take a look at your forecast all the way into this holiday weekend, you're talking about a warm up that's going to take us right back into the 70s. 75 degrees will be the high on Sunday. That is also Christmas. We're also talking about a return to the 80s. That will be the case by Sunday. So that puts us well above seasonal. You're talking about 8 to about 17 degrees above seasonal. Go ahead and toss it back to you two.
Okay. It's kind of like telling you not to think about the elephant in the room, right? You're just gonna, all we're gonna do is look at your face, Carlene, when you tell us not to look at your face. We don't want to look at graphics. You're so beautiful. Okay, here is an update for you on gas prices. If you're traveling by car this holiday weekend, you'll be happy to know that gas prices here in San Diego County are at the lowest average we've seen since October of 2021. Phew. Tonight, the average for a gallon of regular unleaded is $4.43. That is down 0.9 cents from yesterday, and 10 cents less per gallon than what we were paying, $4.53, a week ago.
The city of Chula Vista now has a department dedicated to addressing housing needs for people experiencing homelessness. The Department of Housing and Homeless Services is made up of 10 staff members who will work on helping people experiencing homelessness. They say their goal is to provide homeless outreach, a Chula Vista Bridge shelter, Harborside Park outreach, affordable housing developments, and first-time home buying and rental assistance programs. All right, stay with us. We will be right back.